Hello, good evening, welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself up here on the panel this evening is the Bridgeman and George Logan, who's kindly stepped in for Big Stevie the Drum, who proved he doesn't know what day of the week it is.
How you doing, boys? All right?
Can I say a big good evening to you two guys? Huge good evening to the guys in the lobby and to all the Rangers fans that are listening in all over the world. Good evening. Welcome to Rangers Radio.
How are you, George?
Aye, all right, Ox. Looking for a good while the night. Big Stevie phoned me today and he said, "Can you stand in for me tonight, George? I've got something important for you today." I said, "Listen, Myra won't let me." I said, "You'll need to get somebody else," but I didn't realise it was stepping in from in the radio, so all good things.
George Logan, that's a shocker, man.
You're a brave man to tackle Myra.
A shocker.
I'll tell you what,
I love the woman, Ox. I love the woman.
A braver man get home to Mrs. Logan.
I'm just going to stay down in London. I'm not bothered going home at all.
Oh, Bridgeman, he's dicing with fire, that boy, isn't he?
Aye, indeed he is. In many ways.
I'll just tell Big Stevie Bridgeman, tell me to say it before the show, Ox. I'll get away with it.
Bridgeman, you can't do that. You can't go in and dob somebody else in for what you're saying. You can't do that. No. Big Stevie knows.
Made me do it.
Big Bridgeman made me do it.
That's what I said to the officers. George, we've debated it loads and loads of time, but as club fans, and I mean that with the greatest respect, people have got their own thoughts on international football, but as club fans, we don't like the international break, but this just feels surreal that you're playing international football, no friendlies football, when people can't travel and the world's, let's just say, it's paused for a minute. I just think common sense could have prevailed.
It's crazy for me, Ox. It really, really isn't. And me personally, I don't like international football. If there's teams playing and there's nothing else, I'll watch the games. But I'm not a Scotland. I'm not really a fan of any international football team, if I'm perfectly honest, Ox. But at this time to do this, I mean, I think to keep the world sane, I think it's good that we're trying to get football back and we're trying to get leagues played and things like that. And I mean, football is a big thing for everybody, for depression, for just everything, Ox. It really, really is. But when it comes to international football, Ox, I think this is a crazy, crazy decision. Even if you wanted to have a friendly between England, Scotland, Wales, whatever, I think that would still be wrong. But having guys travelling all over the world, Ox, I mean, there's a game being called off at half-time. The under-19s called off at half-time because somebody's tested positive before the game and they go to the results just after. Ox, it's absolutely crazy for me. And
how can they call off a game at half time?
43 minutes. Ox.
The coaching staff, Bridge.
What's that, buddy?
The results come through one of the coaching staff, so they just
oh my God! Wow,
I think
it is surreal. It is surreal, right enough.
I think it was only a friendly, so but but the fact that I even think they're playing friendly games and putting the people travelling, I don't know. I really don't know, George.
But the thing about being a friendly in that, Ox, and I get that, but take football to all together, Ox, and let's be honest about it. I mean, are we putting people's lives at risk, Ox? That's what I'm trying to say. I mean, even for a friendly, one of the coaching staffs go to who's it passing it to, and things like that. Scotland players have now got it and things like that, Ox. I think it's just crazy, and I think there could have been other ways round about it. And for me personally, I'm not a international football fan, Ox, so it's easy for me to say. But for this year, and maybe this year only, maybe this year, next year, you could possibly say, look, I'm sorry for everybody who's looking for caps and that, but we're just not going to have that this year. We're going to just play within our own borders and try and secure this. And let's play football, but let's play our own domestic football. And that's my opinion, Ox.
Sounds like common sense to me in some respects. I mean, you can even put an argument up with whether Europe should have been postponed this year, Bridgeman.
Absolutely right. Some crazy decisions, and I don't know what the intention is. And is it for the internationals? Is it, for instance, if it was for Scotland, is Scotland in real trouble financially? They probably are. some of these clubs they must be living on the edge right enough, and we're not that far behind them. The bigger clubs are not that far behind them. Just incredible. I just want Rangers to get through whatever it is they've got to get through and keep everything going until because apparently they're talking about very close to getting.
Was I on mute when I asked you that question?
What is it, pal?
About Europe.
Well, I was just about to say that. The teams in Europe are having a terrible trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible problems.
It's a crap one, but I can't understand it. Going back to just tweeting the subject about our club, if you like, George, we're all missing the social side of going to the football. Is that fair?
Aye, that's a big part of it for everybody else. Of course it is. I mean, that's some guys like to go before the game, have a wee blather with their mates, and some guys actually don't see the football mates from week to week. I can personally, I didn't do that, Ox. Can you maybe see the guys, there's your mates, but you maybe only see them once a week or something like that, Ox, and you go for a pint with them, and they're still your big mates, but it's just a tradition you've got. You meet them every Saturday at 12 o'clock or whatever time it is, and you go for a pint with them, and maybe one after, Ox. That's a big social thing for me. That's
what it was for the one after. Bridgeman, you're a social gentleman. You like a blather and the banter that goes with the football.
Yes, indeed. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. It's just tremendous. If we are people of the same type of persuasion,
mm-hmm.
It's very good.
Relations, didn't you?
What's that?
You tie up with some of your relations inside the stadium, didn't you?
Oh yes, indeed. Every game, I go down at half time and meet my cousins and their extended family. Brilliant. It's great to see here. Just brilliant.
What I've got a concern with, George, is this forums and it becomes habit changing and people get the habit. Is it going to have implications for the game?
That's
club.
Aye, that's what we don't want, Ox, because I mean, me personally, we sit here and we've all paid for our season tickets and we're happy to be getting the games on the Rangers channel because of you're paying your season ticket and things like that, Ox. But we didn't want it to start affecting guys not going to the games and guys getting into a fashion of saying, Ken, something, it's a few hours, because for me personally, Ox, you're leaving at 1 o'clock and you're not back to 6, 6:30. It's a big part of your day, Ox. If you've got a young family or anything like that, you didn't want that to start happening, because me personally, I think Rangers and Rangers fans have dealt with this absolutely brilliant. We're just going to pay our season tickets and we maybe not get to a game this season, and that's just the way it is. That kind of going forever, but Ox, Ken, that kind of going forever, and I wouldn't like folk to think, well, I'm not going to bother get my season ticket now, because at the end of the day, I've been getting the games and I'm not going to bother. That's what you didn't want, Ox, because that's been really going to start affecting clubs.
Bridgeman?
That's a good point, a very good point. I'm hoping that us Rangers fans, and I mean that in all sincerity, I'm talking about every one of them, will have a similar attitude as they have right now, that the club means everything right at this moment, and that necessity of the fans to be able to support it. I hope that continues, and once we get through whatever tunnel we have to go through, we get through that, and we'll be in a good fighting fit position. That's what we're looking for. And the club being quite healthy, and the fans, of course, being healthy, get rid of this COVID thing. But that's what I'm looking for. And I would hate to think that what George is saying, I would hate to think that may actually come true. I would fear that greatly, because you could see the cracks will start to appear in some clubs. If you've got Rangers there and there's no got big crowds coming in because the guys are sitting watching the telly or something like that, it'd be frightening.
I mean, we all want to support my club, George, but punters' pockets on they're no bottomless pits. They're not going to keep paying for something they're not getting. Let's be really honest about it. Not everybody's in that situation, are they?
No, that's right, Ox. I mean, people can date, and people say they're going to date. Not everybody can date, Ox, and I understand that, but nobody can date. Nobody can turn around and say, I'm just going to date indefinitely, Ox. I mean, me personally, I've written after this season, I had a wee bit of hope we'd maybe get in just before Christmas. Recent events has told me we're not going to get in any time soon. And I heard somebody saying yesterday it might be April. But what's the point, Ox? Ken, what's the point? And if you get in to see Rangers lifting the league trophy in May, that's fair enough. But you're maybe only going to get a couple of games at the end of the season. But if it is only a couple of games at the end of the season, that's fine. You can, you're going into next season, you're getting your season ticket. But me personally, I'm not a scrounge or nothing, Ox, but me personally, if we get into next season, we've not had a game, and there's no sign of us getting into a game anytime next season, I might not do it next year, Ox, because I am getting to watch the home games and things like that. But let's all put our hands up and be perfect honest, Ox. We can get games, and that's the scary thing. We can get games. We can't get that kind of money back, Ox, and that's £550 this year, £550 next year. You can't sustain that, Ox. As me personally, as a working guy, I can't.
You maybe in a lot of households, you might be able to afford it, but you might not be able to justify it, George. Do different things, yeah?
That's right. That's exactly it. It's all right me saying that right now, Ken, I'm going to do it, but going in and saying to Lisa, I'm going to do it, might be a different story altogether, Ox.
By the way, while you're asking, I'm going to ask her if it's all right if I can get mine.
Exactly, aye. She's busy in the gear in the pampas grass and she'll answer the phone.
Oh, have a look. She likes a bit of that pampas grass, doesn't she?
I didn't know what an obsession with it is, Ox. Honestly, I didn't know what it is, but she seems to like pampas grass.
Big Al knows what it is. He was the man that outed his all.
He did that.
That was funny. That was a comedy gold moment.
That was one of the nights where you had to stop Big Al, and the Big Al was saying, "I'll tell you something else. You'll not bother telling us anything else. We'll just stop there whilst you're ahead." Brilliant.
And stop while you're ahead, big man. I think he told us a story about somebody, didn't he? But it was good. That was a funny night.
Oh, we can't want to continue that great story. You're right. But no, you're absolutely right, Ox. I mean, there's a boy in my boss, Jim. I've had a season ticket for whatever amount of years. I've had mine 20 years now, so he's had his 30, 40 years, whatever it is. And I mean, he's getting to the stage now where he misses games because he's getting a bit older, Ox, and he's got sore knees and things like that. People might enjoy this, Ox. People might enjoy sitting, maybe even going to the Scopes with their wife, or sitting in the house to 2:30, putting the Rangers game on at 2:30, and then at 10:05 watching the interview. 10:05 watching an interview and then listen to the Rangers radio after that, and that's your football day done, Ox. You don't have to leave the house if you're out working all week in the rain and things like that. People might think that's maybe a better idea, Ox, which is maybe scary for certain clubs. I mean, our club especially, but a lot of clubs, Ox.
If you look at the American baseball, I know it's a different sport. They play a lot more games over a shorter period than that, and they can play 2 games in a day and all that bridge, but if you go back at one time, their stadiums were full for different games, but it's telly got a grip of it. It's only the big games are full for Bridge. Bridgeman? Oh, George, you know what I mean? It's a TV sport and things change.
Ox, it could become a TV sport, because I heard, I mean, we speak about the teams down south and that, Ox, they don't really need season tickets, and that's the thing. Scotland, we need season ticket, Ox. We need loyal fans. We need guys going, let's take Rangers out of the equation. Let's go halfway down the league, 5th and 6th. There's not one of the teams outside the top 4 could sustain another season of this, Ox. It's just no possible for it. They need guys going and going through the turnstiles every single week. They need the 25 quid off every person as they're going through. It's just no possible for teams to do it. And Ox, as much as I didn't like any other teams, we're talking about football as a whole here. You didn't want to see that happen to anybody, Ox, because at the end of the day, we've got to be able to have somebody to play against, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. All right. If people's got any thoughts on that, what's the number, Bridge?
The number's 0141 356 1972.
Where else can they join us, George?
They can join us on Skype at rangersradio.com, Ox.
Got online, we brought in a call with a one and only Fox and old school blue. Be using the phone in, hang up, and we'll contact you right back. It'll be interesting to see. Did you get that point, Bridge, about how the baseball changed and how people used to go in their thousands and they don't really do, they watch it on the TV?
Well, it's a big, shall we say, it's a big temptation, isn't it? Because some of the baseball grounds used to be huge, like some of our football stadia.
Still on, mate.
Yeah, but some of them were, and some of them are a bit more distant now. They're away for it, quite a distance away. Whereas some of the places were right in the middle of town type of thing, So quite some changes. difficult. But most sports now are changing. There's a great expectation for fans to be able to do a multitude of things and go and see a multitude of sports, not just the one sport. Like me, I'm just interested in football, really. When I was doing in England over in South Africa and places like that, I wanted to watch cricket and football most assuredly. But now I just want to see the Rangers. I don't want to see anything else.
I get that, mate. But we're just seeing the habit forming. People's habits, they change. That'll be interesting. George, we've started some things. I've started at the club, Edmondson House. I think Fox is going to line them tomorrow, see if he can get by the bricks after punting them one at a time, mate. But so things are starting to move for the 150th anniversary.
It's a big event for us. It's a really big event. I wondered now why Fox was on the phone looking for Lenny some wheelbarrows a day. Actually, that makes sense now. It's a big event for us, Ox. 150 year. I think the club's got to do it. They've done as proud of everything else, Ox. So kind of board and things like that. So it's 150 year to celebrate the club and the fans. So it's interesting. I'm looking forward to see what we're actually going to do and what the club's got planned for it, Ox. Because I really think it'll be a big. We've spoke about it a million times. I hope it's got to be a big long event, like just to celebrate how important the club is to everybody else.
Yeah. Bridgeman and Soda Bistro will be getting upgraded, mate.
Well, that'd be wonderful. I hope they leave a wee spot for the Rangers radio, perhaps, so we can go and know where we're going and what we're doing. And obviously, it's all going to change. And I dare say, if it's good, if it's for the good and what we talked about, there'll be a lot of room inside for people to be able to gather and go for a pint or whatever they want to do. Just sit and stand and chat, get something to eat, whatever. I'm really looking forward to seeing it. Really looking forward to seeing it. Because some days when you went there, even enjoyable as it was, it's bloody raining and things like that. You get frozen before you even get to the football, Excuse me.
I don't think I've said that a million times on there. Well, no, that's true, but enough. I don't think we use the facilities enough.
No.
People should be in the ground, warm, comfortable. Things should be moving on, but we'll get there. I'm sure we will, and I'm sure Rangers will move to the forefront, George.
Aye, that's right, Ox. We're looking forward to it. And I mean, it sort of lines up with two things we're actually speaking about. It's a generation thing for me, Ox. We're talking about guys maybe thinking it's easier just not to go to the game now, sitting in the house and hearing a Saturday dinner and things like that, Ox. And even when the games are Sundays, it's a bit of a struggle for folk to go on a Sunday. I hate a Sunday game and things like that, but here in Europe, you've got to do it. It's as simple as that. But it's a generation, Ox, the younger boys. I mean, there's nothing really to say. Come along to Ibrox half an hour before the game and stand about, and there's nothing there for anybody else. So if the old ones are going and they're not going because they're freezing cold, the young ones are just got to start doing the exact same. So we've got to encourage these guys, the young boys, to come along to Ibrox, give them something other than just the football to come along to actually see, other than just coming in and watching the game and going away again. We should start doing things like that and encouraging people to use Ibrox, not just as a football stadium, Ox, but it's going there for your food and things like that as well. It's not done often enough for me.
I mean, obviously we've got big hospitality facilities, but they price a lot of the punters. Not everybody can afford that. Recognise that, but I think that we have to move into a society where people can meet, have a pint at the ground, and things can move on, and they should be in comfort, George. It's the 21st century.
That's it, Ox. Even just somewhere to stay out the rain for the young man. We're talking about Big Stevie. Big Stevie's young lad. He never misses a single game, Ox. He's there, winter, rain. No, it doesn't matter what it is. He's always there. But you must look sometimes and think to yourself, that PlayStation looks a wee bit more. That PlayStation seat looks a bit more comfortable than sitting Ibrox in the rain and things like that. Sorry to sit in Ibrox in the rain, but if you're going in already, soaking wet, if you're standing outside, there's no way to cover people and things like that. We should really, really look at that.
Stevie's boy's all right with the rain. It's the wind. He doesn't like a hair out of place, that boy.
You're right.
He's always immaculate. But I get you. The things have got to evolve. Society's moving on. The game will have to move on. They'll have to improve facilities. Not just us everywhere, but I hope we're at the forefront, Bridge, and we get it right.
Well, you and I have spoken about this for the last 4 or 5 years now, where we would really love them to upgrade a big chunk of Ibrox. I'm not talking about the pitch area or anything like that, although they could do what they want with that. But for the state, for the what do you call them? They should be able to. What was it used as? You should be able to walk right around Ibrox if you wanted to.
Concourses,
The concourses should all be joined together and just walk right around it if you wanted to, and go and see people, go and meet people, and do what you need to do. So as far as I'm concerned, I agree with you said then, and I still believe in it now. I just want them to, first of all, when they're building or doing something, renovation, get the bloody toilets right. There's nothing worse than these bloody toilets are rubbish. Sorry, pal.
I mean, you're right, mate. They were modern in their day, but they're 1978, 79. That stadium, the first one at the Copeland Road stand. So, come on, they're 40-year-old now, Bridge, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a long time. And people recognise it as well. Although I must admit, some of the fans are not the nicest. They get that full of that Jake and get that Jakey stuff in them, and they don't care,
Well,
hijinks, old boy.
Only because they're excited to go in again. We don't have bad fans, do we, George?
Not at all, Ox, not at all. But I mean, we can do what we want round about the stadium, Ox, and we can celebrate 150 years, and it's all going to be fantastic. Of course it is, and you're saying Rangers should be at the forefront of doing these things. We always were, Ox. We were leading everything. But see, to be honest, Ox, the biggest encouragement any young guy, any young lassie is going to get to start coming back to Ibrox and want to go every week is watching us winning trophies, Ox. And that's the thing, we're starting to get that right, Ox. I think we've got a good wee squad and we can start to do that. We're talking about taking Edmonds and House down and things like that. It's all good at Ibrox, it's all really positive, and it's good to see, Hawks. But we need to get silverware. We need to get a winning team.
Yeah.
And we need to get trophies come back into where they should be going again, Hawks. And that will start this year. So the start of the big celebration should be getting this league back this year, Hawks, and making a good job of it. That's what's going to encourage people back to the ground.
Okay, people want to join us. What's the number, Georgie boy?
0141 356 1972, Ox.
Or join us at Skype at rangersradio.online. You've brought a call with Fox and Old School Blue. I believe they've got YouTube working. Again, wizards, these boys. If you phone in, hang up and we will contact you right back. If we get it right, everything will be a big, big benefit to the club, particularly as we move forward the next, let's say, 18-month Bridge Bun, because I don't know about you, but the world's changed forever in some respects.
It's going to take a long time, a long time. Big changes in society, big changes. I'm so looking forward to all these things happening within the next 18 months. It's going to be brilliant. I just hope we get the drive at the board level and to encompass the fans and keep them coming. Just the things you just said a minute ago. It's all very important. The whole thing is going to start to come in. And our 150th is going to be unbelievable. Unbelievable. Tell you. I'm looking forward to it. I know that. I'm not alone. Obviously, I'm not alone.
No. Of course you're not alone.
When you talk about things changing forever, Ox, I mean, of course it's going to change forever, and it's just the way of life now, and we're just going to have to realise that hopefully everybody can commute safe. Not everybody's going to commute safe, but your loved ones can, Ox, and it's got to change everything forever. And I was a bit, do we need football going? And by the way, Ox, we do need football going. And if it's at the top level and you can get these guys tested every couple of days and keep everybody safe, absolutely brilliant. But it's at the lower grounds, Ox. I mean, there we've got Brechin last night playing Dundee United. So Brechin got tested after the friendly on Saturday. Everybody's fully fit, no problems. So they played Dundee United last night. They didn't get tested again, Ox. Brechin City, I'm talking about, didn't get tested again until after they play St Johnstone on Saturday, Ox. Now, I kind of look at clubs that are on shoestrings, and you've got to get fans back in the ground, and we've just spoke about getting money back into wee clubs. Brechin, for example, sitting in the third division, Ox. But I didn't think you should put people's lives at risk for the sake of a football game, Ox. If these clubs can't afford, or the SPL, whoever it is, SFA, can't afford to make all these guys safe. They shouldn't be going out there, Ox. And I think a week and 2 games between each trial for a third division team, it's not very clever, Ox. I wouldn't like to be in that position.
Good point, well made, George. Talking about Georges, seems to be a thing on here. You get one guy with one name on and somebody else comes on. We have been joined by George EK. Evening, Georgie boy.
Evening, lads. How
you doing, George?
How you doing, George?
All right, Fred, man. How are you, mate?
Wonderful, pal. Thank you. Wonderful.
Great to hear.
Should I say we've been joined by Big George? Does that sound better?
Big George.
Thank you, man.
How are you, George?
You talking about rounders earlier on there?
What's that, mate? Sorry?
Are you talking about rounders earlier on there?
Rounders. Baseball.
Rounders.
I suppose it's a form of rounders, isn't it?
It's a shocker, isn't he? He's a shocker.
You were no bad at that.
Hey, crowds there for that wee ball. But I agree with what you're saying there, know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So,
what worries me, George, I mean, not everybody's like yourself, mate. Hartson goes to a sponsored walk before they go to the game, you know what I mean?
Are you taking time?
But, you know, once people get the habit, George, genuine concerns that, or if they can't socially go for a few pints before they go to the game, some guys might not bother.
Exactly, mate. That's a very good point, by the way. I'm telling you, man. I can't wait to get back to Ibrox. I can't wait, man. See, watching it on the telly, it's just not the same, isn't it?
No,
avoid the atmosphere and everything, man. It's just not the same.
It's a decent substitute, George Logan, but it's definitely not the same with the crowd there.
No, it's definitely no Ox. I mean, I found it really, really hard to get into Ox, if I'm perfectly honest, most of the games. I'm still enjoying watching Rangers and things like that. I mean, the game last Thursday, I think that was enough for anybody. It got us all going. Even though there was no fans there, Ox, I think the build up before it, the talk before it, and then the performance the team put in, the result, I think that really got us all. I think 2 weeks or 10 days, 10 years sleep, that game will probably maybe get us all going as well. And I hope it goes through all right, Ox, and we can actually get a wee bit of atmosphere going and we can get things built up before it. But it's definitely not the same. But Ox, you need football in your life. You need football in any way you can possibly get it, whether it's on the telly or actually going, like George is saying, nothing beats going to the ground. I think everybody needs football in their life just to get that wee bit of break of what's sort of going on in the Ox.
We need a bit of sanity, George, yeah?
That's it, Ox.
Sorry, I'm going to have to work this right, yeah. You're George and you're Big George. Let me know who's who. Is that fair enough?
I'll just cut it down to Gio.
Gio, right? You're Gio then. He wants to play the Italian bit. Right, Gio.
Right, what's that?
It's a concern, mate, going forward, but hopefully we can get it sorted and we can move forward and we can get back to normal, mate.
Oh, 100%, man. I mean, you don't realise how much you really miss normality, man. You know what I mean? You're sitting in the house every night of the week, man, going like, oh, when's this going to end, man? Come on. Let's get back to the way it was before, by the way, I'm talking about, for this time winning trophies.
Here. And with the club, and we're starting to develop things, George. I don't know if you've seen it on social media today, but as Edmondson House started getting pulled down, and so things are starting to move for us, mate.
Aye, 100%, by the way. As I say, everything's onwards and upwards, isn't it? Progression.
He's right.
That's the correct word too, isn't it? Progression.
He's right when he said that things are on the upwards we're on an upward curve. I think we're the only team in Scotland that's on an upward curve, George Logan.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that, Ox. I totally agree with that. I mean, we had the really hard times, and it took us a wee while to come through them, but we really are starting to come through them now. We've got a decent manager in. We've started to get some decent players in. Then we've got even more. I think we've got a really good squad now. The board, I'm not going out of the top box, but the board are doing, I think they're trying to do good things for us. They're backing the manager all the way. So I keep saying all the time, repeat myself, but it's a lot of positive stuff going to happen at Ibrox and that's all right for us Rangers fans. That's good for us. We deserve that. But we're talking about people not going back to the games and that, Ox. It's going to affect us, but it's going to affect other teams around about us before it affects us.
Man, Bridgeman, you feel this? Can you feel the momentum on an upward curve? But how do I put this without being facetious? No, I don't want to be seen to be taking the pee. You've seen a few. You've seen a few good times. You've seen a few bad times. Can you feel the momentum with us, mate?
Oh, 100%. Yes, I can. It's unfortunately, look, when you come from where we've came, you can't get there quick enough. But most assuredly, the momentum is building, and it'll keep going. Once it starts, we've already spoke about this in particular about the football. Once you start doing it, it becomes habit, and if you can get that habit, then everything will be good. Everything will be good for you. And it's really important that we keep our carry on with the momentum. The club has come a long way in the last 4 years. My God Almighty, we were in the gutter. Look at us now, marvellous, just marvellous, and it's all been done a nice steady slope. Excuse me. And Mr. King, I doff my cap to him. He's the one that brought us through it. And these guys that are up there now, they're going to continue it. And people like me and all the rest of the fans, we are the ones that are going to be hopefully breathing fresh air into Ibrox and supporting every move that they make. Just support it. Just go and do it. It's all for the good, all for the benefit of Rangers, in my opinion.
Right, if people want to join us, come and talk to the two Georges. I think maybe give the two Ronnies a run for their money, Bridge. What's the number, Bridgeman?
The number's 0141356 1972.
Or join us at Skype at rangersradio.online. You brought in a call with the one and only Fox, an old school blue. You use the phone in, hang up, and we will contact you right back. Yeah, upward curve, feel it on the park, off the park. Momentum's coming to us. We just need maybe just need the look of the blue. Gio.
100% agree. 100% agree. And also that news and all, there's a possibility. I don't know if it's just paper talk or whatever, man, about Wiltshire. I mean, he'd be a good addition to the team, wouldn't he?
Well, the guy was when they came on the scene. I mean, I remember as Rangers supporters seen him, but as a youngster, but I don't believe it to see them stoning with the scarf outside Ibrox or the money part, mate. You know.
Exactly.
You know. We'll see.
But as I say, the progression's been absolutely brilliant, man. And honestly, I feel as if they're on the slide. I don't know about you. I feel as if they're on the downward slide.
I've not really thought about them. I'm not obsessed with them, but I get what you're coming from, George. Yeah, George Logan.
No, I know it's like when you're talking, you meet a few of them outside and you're having
I've never even spoke to one of them.
Talk or argument with them. Shoot, it's an argument usually, you know what I mean?
I've never spoke to one of them in my life.
Good man.
Yeah. Try and avoid them at all costs.
I know. It's probably them that brought the pandemic on.
George Logan.
For me personally, I cross the road when I see one coming towards me. But no, but Georgie's got a good point there, Ox. They are in the slide. I mean, and that's the thing. I think if we were just going along the way we were going, they wouldn't even notice that. But we're actually building up teams, building up players, buying players for 4 and 5 million, things like that. You know, Ryan Kent for £7 million. People say they wasn't worth it. He's worth every penny for that for me right now. So we are on the up, Ox, and that's the thing. And you can actually see their degression, as you would call it. They're going down the way now because we're actually catching up with them that much. And even just the fact, well, I agree with you. You didn't talk about a player until or believe it until the player standing at the Ibrox doors or Money Park doors, whatever it is, and he's got that scarf above his head, Ox. But for us just to be talking about bringing the boy Jack Wilshere in, what kind of money we're talking about? Some people say, will he get in the team? How will he do? And things like that, Ox. I think that's great news for Rangers Ox. We're just getting spoke about all over the place, and I keep going back to Ox. We are a big, massive club, and we're a draw for absolutely anybody. I'm never going to take it away from what Steven Gerrard's actually done for us Ox, because we're getting spoke about all over the place because of what Steven Gerrard done in the game, and the kind of guy Steven Gerrard is, this kind of guy that Steven Gerrard, the player he was, what he won in the game, Ox. And people were on here the other night there, and I think the discussion was about Graham Souness or Steven Gerrard. It doesn't matter what one you prefer out of the two and what one was a better football player. We've now got a manager, Ox, that we're comparing to a great manager we had in Graham Souness. And I didn't think we would ever see days coming back to Rangers, to Ibrox, Ox, and they're now back. And that guy's want to take us back to the top. So I believe we will go right back to the top with him at the helm, Ox.
Yeah, by the way, that's a good point you make. Bridgeman, the RTV coverage when after the Galatasaray game, when Stevie G came up to the platform, you could tell that he was there was mutual respect there all around, wasn't there? He was in the presence of two legends, and he felt that they were giving him it back, saying, "Listen, son, the job you're doing here is fantastic. We've done a great job, but under different circumstances."
No, every word's the truth, what you're saying. And isn't it great to see our manager among the famous as far as the Rangers are concerned?
He's a humble boy, isn't he? He's got a bit of class about him.
Yeah, a lot of class. You ask me, a lot of class. And to stand beside Graham Souness and Walter Smith and feel at home in their company, given where they were, is unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. I absolutely adore the guy. And when we were over there to meet him, or to see him coming in, his face was a picture, the big crowd behind him, and he's running up and down, just amazing stuff, just fabulous. Really, really good, and it's just the same. Look, don't get me wrong, there are some maybe never liked him as a Rangers side of it, and don't want him to be there, and all that. I don't know where that comes from, but some, you get them. Some Rangers fans are like that, isn't it?
Aye, people get contempt to their views, People might think it was too big a job for him. You'll always get that. Me personally, I think he's done a fantastic job, and we just need that bit of luck, George Logan.
That's it, Ox. Aye, that's exactly what we need. I think he's done a great job, Ox. It gets me excited. And I freely admit, at the time, I don't know who could have came in, but I thought it was maybe somebody who would know the club and know the fans and could see where we want to go, but not completely. I was wrong, completely 100% wrong. He's been a great appointment, an absolutely fantastic appointment. The man's a gentleman. The way he talks, the way he conducts himself, Ox, it's just everything that I expect a Rangers manager. I mean, for me personally, going back, my first Rangers manager was really Walter Smith. Graham Souness, aye, but Walter Smith. And I mean, the way Walter Smith conducted himself just all the time, suited and booted, and just looked like a proper guy. Alex McLeish, Dick Advocaat, and then Alex McLeish was the exact same for me, Ox. He conducted himself, he spoke great. I think he was a good manager, underrated manager for me, Ox. Alex McLeish was. And then we had Ali McCoist and that as well. But then you go back down to I call it the gutter, Ox. I'm again, it's a Rangers manager, but when you've got a guy like Pedro Cassina arguing with fans out a balcony and through a bunch of trees and things like that, Ox, that's embarrassing for our club. That's embarrassing for fans of our club to even be standing arguing with that guy. He shouldn't even be in the dugout or anything with. And now we've got a guy like Steven Gerrard who's done everything in the game, respected everywhere in the game.
Do you remember that night? Do you remember that night?
A day, Ox, aye.
You were on the show, and I told you I gave my first thoughts. I kept my powder dry about Kachira, didn't I?
Aye, that's right.
And that night, he should have been told to clear his desk. It was just a right fit. Nothing against him, personally. It was his death.
That's it. I think that's the thing with Steven Gerrard. We're talking about mutual respect between him and Walter and Ali. I know the guy standing the other night, Graham Souness. I think a lot of the guys could have looked into us. Some folk has been the manager of our club over the last few years. Ox. Not with this guy, because he's done everything in the game and he conducts himself well in the game, Ox. And that's what makes me, I think, ken something. He's really got to take us to that next level. And I honestly do believe that Steven Gerrard, will be the guy that wins us your next trophy. I just can see it happening, Ox, because he's built a good wee team.
All right, mate. if people want to join us, give their thoughts on the present football situation, particularly relating to our club. Some other news broke today. We've opened the first of the retail deal expanding. We're opening up a shopping boutique, Cannon Galleries. If we're ever allowed to go shopping again, Bridgeman.
Aye. I think that that'll be a really good shop, to be honest. That's a quality place, that, Cannon Galleries.
Would you say that's the busiest part of Glasgow city centre now? The Cannon Galleries?
Yeah, I would say so.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's inside. I think the senior centre used to be a really good place, but it's not very popular anymore. That they've got to change that to make it happen, because that big store they used to have there, British Home Stores, and it's shut, and they've just let it. But they're going to build a cinema in there, so they're modernising there. But Cannon Galleries by far and away the better of the two areas, and it's up the top of Cannon Street. You can't beat it.
Mm-hmm. All right, so that was positive, George. Obviously, city centre ready for a real crumble. Geo.
Aye, that's. Sorry.
Oh no, sorry, mate. Two Georges, mate.
Confusion, innit? But aye, that's the way it is. But you know what I mean. It's all looking rosy, man. Looking good for rugby. For our game against the Ratcatchers, and I'm talking about next week.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And we look as if I've got a team, man, that's ready to go. And I honestly, I feel it. I feel as if we're going to do them next week. I really do.
Do you think it's that big a game? And I don't want to touch on it, because and you think it's the whole springboard to where we're going to be? You think that could come next week, George?
Aye.
All right. Fair enough.
I'll be George, sorry.
All right, I see where you're coming from. George Logan, I know you're not a Glasgow lad, but it's a nice part of the town, the city centre. It's busy, another good spot. It's all important to the club profile.
Aye, it's more positive for our club, Ox. That's what it was, Ox. We were getting battered for quality posts for years, and we were trying to find the slightest wee thing, Ox. There's a new snack bar outside Ibrox, just for to get a wee bit of positivity come out of our club, because there wasn't, if we're honest, Ox. And it's all happening now. We're getting more positive stuff. Now you're getting a shopping in the Cannon Galleries, Ox. That's another great bit of news for our club, running up towards the Christmas thing as well, because Ox, our fans will go there. Our fans will make a point of going there. Whether they run about the place or no, they'll just make a point of going to that. It was like the new Rangers running up towards the Christmas thing.
Oh, Cairo, turn the show off. Carry on.
Aye, so it's just mere positivity for our club, Ox. It really, really is, and I think that's all today with our fans, how we back our club, Ox, and that's what's today with.
Yeah. Talking about guys who back the club, I've been joined by Cairo. Evening, Cairo.
Good evening, gentlemen. How you doing?
All the better for hearing your dulcet tones.
Hi, Cairo. Nice to hear you, pal.
Hi, Bridge. That must be some view up there. You see the things you see in that game. You must be some fair height. Hi, George Logan. How's the band playing? Still playing away?
Always playing good, Cairo. Right, looking forward to getting back out the Queen's Highway again.
Love it. Well, things are looking pretty good so far. I'll tell you, I'll put my tin hat on here, Ox Jern, say the old Jib and Doug thing. I'm not convinced yet. I'm still still worried about it, but hey, the pulp through on Sunday, so we'll see. It's just when we get that wee lead, I want is just to keep it. So we'll see how it goes. I'm a wee bit more optimistic, because we're a wee bit more dig that game on Sunday. We could have maybe lost it. I'm really worried about the couple of headers the players got, But apart from that, I'm feeling quite.
Yep. I think that's the first time that's ever been said on Rangers Radio, Cairo.
Well, I've been listening to a view for the Bridge, and it's a bit more highbrow than normal, so that's
Well, we're actually thinking of scrapping that, mate. We're thinking it's not working for us. He's getting too much fan mail.
Well, Fox will probably take that a look, because he's the fan mail king, isn't he? He's the guy that gets all the fan mail.
Well, we were sort of
scented fan mail.
discussing that before the show, Cairo, but I wouldn't like to divulge it on here. Would that be fair, George Logan? It wouldn't be right, would it?
No, we're telling not to speak about it a lot before the game, but I can confirm, Cairo, that he's had to get an extra postman put in the street because he's getting that much fan mail through his door now. So.
Did you say fan mail? I didn't hear. That's
Cairo,
all right.
football players are getting tested twice a week. Fox is getting that much fan mail. He's having to get tested every day. He's getting that much stuff through his door.
Brilliant. Now, well, I take it he's working in the background tonight. You keep him very quiet.
Every time you phone him, Cairo, you just hear swipe with his phone. I don't know what he's looking at.
Well, I'm just kind of relaxing tonight. I've had a wonderful couple of days, so I'm just taking it easy. That result eased my mind, and that Thursday night result eased my mind. And I'll be honest, I wasn't really that concerned on Sunday either, up until the last week. A couple of headers, man, Jesus, they just knocked me shitless. But sorry, I'd like to say that knocked me sideways. The fact that they got away with these.
Cairo, you're
a shocker, by the way.
You're a guy that's pragmatic. Was that be fair? You're fair. You're honest, and you've seen good and bad. And Wednesday, if I mean you'd been speaking on here, and I said, we'll take 2-1 win against Galatasaray, and I told you 2-0 victory over Ross County. What would you say?
And I said I'll take the win at Galatasaray. I'm not looking any more further than that because, like Bridge says, it's the next game is your most important one. So I wouldn't have bothered. But being honest, yeah, I probably would have taken the two results. It's not that. It's when you're there. When it's like when you've achieved something, you get there, and you have the chance to make it. Put the cherry in the cake, if you like, or make it that wee bit better. A win that you'd attain originally, you suddenly feel, no, we could have done a wee bit better there. So maybe that wee bit of that in it, I know, because you go there. But for me, I'm still watching what I've said to you before. If we can just carry this through, because if I can see a couple of signs of that, I think we'll go and win 50. We'll go and win the 55. But it's just breaking that bloody glass ceiling. I think if we do that, and did you hear Souness the other day as well when he was talking?
He said basically pretty much what you've been saying. When you win the first one, that'll be the start of many, didn't he?
He did, and did you hear him talking about somebody drop a shoulder, somebody take a man on? Don't be predictable. God Almighty, man! I mean, I felt as though it was an echo chamber. So I think. I think they're good. I don't know what you were talking about before. I'm just came on the thing there, and I've jumped in talking about what I think rather it's what you were talking about, So hopefully I've not interrupted an interesting conversation about couches or anything like that, because
nothing like that.
Obviously being in the archive loyal, you can't contribute to any of the perambulating couches.
Did you have a giggle at that one, Cairo?
A giggle. It's hilarious. I wondered what I'd signed into. I thought it was an advert for New Mills or something like that. I'm massaging couch.
With a few comments on the couch classic. It was the plan, and a lot of good bits on here. It just happened.
Brilliant,
Georgie.
It's amazing where you go at times, isn't it? Amazing where you go. But the thing, the proof of the pudding will be if you start to see with this COVID, you start to see the Rangers players not having to do any training. They'll go on these couches, getting their muscles all worked up and that, and then going on to the park and playing a blinder.
Aye, you're right, mate. Cairo, we were talking about before the game how this is going to affect the football. People get out the habit before you come on, sorry. Out the habit of going, but our club, the positivity, new shop, the Canning Gardens, now today they've started work in the new bistro, knocking down the club. So things are moving. We're on a positive upward curve, mate.
Yeah, it's this whole thingy, there are supporters that support clubs because they stay near them, or their father supported them or something like that. But I honestly believe that with the Rangers. I mean, I was born into it. I mean, I grew. You grew up. All my uncles were Rangers supporters. My aunties were Rangers supporters. You kind of grew up with it. When you nearly the first words you say when you know English. So I'm no surprised. I mean, I was talking to my brother the other night. If he still get his season ticket, as I said, I'll let my season ticket go last year just for various reasons, but he still got it. And just the enthusiasm for it, it's just so there's a difference. And I think when you've got a team like ours, where it's more than a team to you, you do feel. I mean, I come on here. I've not been on for a while. I come on every now and again, but I'm an archive loyal now. But when I come on here, I sit, I can relax. I know I can say what I want to say, and you guys kind of accept it. You'll argue with me if I'm right or wrong, but you'll put your point of view. But it's like talking to my brother at times, and I think that's what Rangers is all about. It's just great. As you go abroad with them and that kind of thing. So I'm not surprised that 50,000, whatever it is, season tickets, the size of the stadium, the amount of season tickets we've sold this year, even although you can't get to you're not getting to the game, So I'm absolutely not surprised, and I think it's if we had that wee bit kind of a Premiership sort of a league where you're getting the profile and all that type of thing of the English Premiership. The Rangers would just be vast. They'd outstretch everybody, I think, and I think it's just because that relationship. Listen, the other day you're getting folk from all over the place phoning, and you were saying in one of the shows a couple of days ago, about how many folk you're getting in Facebook, and I don't know the absolute numbers. I didn't ken that, but it's just phenomenal. So for me, it's that's what it's all about. And I know I was a wee bit down in the gub probably March, April time, just after the Dubai thing, but I just had to step back a wee bit because I was becoming a crabbeter. I'll get so I stepped back a bit to try and get my mojo back, and I think with the Rangers, because I got to the stage of even watching in the telly, I was ranting at the television type of thing, and I think it's just everything I just got to me a wee bit, particularly this, as I say, this Jib and Doug syndrome, because it's really good. It felt bad for me, but I'm replenished, rejuvenated,
recharged.
I like the couple of signings he's got, and just things have just got a bit better again. We played some lovely football at times as well, even though we did, even Sunday we were really turgid and slow, but for a wee couple of instances we just tickle the ball about a wee bit. I just wish we'd that wee bit more drive, and as Graham Souness was saying, drop a shoulder, take somebody on, do something bloody different so we're not predictable, and have shots at goal. Have a couple of shots.
You don't treat
and it'd make a difference.
When you were playing the grumpy old man on here, the people had the pleasure to meet you. You're nothing like that in real life. You're one of the cheapest guys I've ever had the pleasure to meet.
I know. I don't care what it is. It's just I'm a kind of a social type butterfly type guy. I like a blather, I like a banter, I like a bit of cross patter backlight, that sort of thing. On here, I just sit and relax and let it go. But I really was disappointed after we came back to Dubai. I just felt let down more than anything else,
I was so
to be honest with you, and that's the way it was. I just felt really let down.
George, I mean, he wasn't the only one that was feeling, because we were so high. We felt as if somebody pricked my balloon, hadn't they?
Right, that's right, Ox. That's exactly what it was. We all felt the exact same. We were all on a right high, and then that came along and just happened, and it knocked the wind out ourselves, if we're perfectly honest. Everything that Cairo was saying there is absolutely bang on, Ox. And what he was saying there about these 2 wins and things like that, Cairo, I think we need to be more ruthless. We've got the players there now. I don't think we had the players there the year before last or last season. We've got the players there now to be ruthless. We need to start going out there, and when we're up 1 and 2, we need to start battling teams. Cairo, I don't think any teams took a pound enough as yet, but I think it's going to happen because I think we've got the players there. I couldn't have said that a couple of seasons ago, Cairo, but I think that's what we need to let. I think Steven Gerrard needs to unleash the team on somebody and really give them one.
I honestly believe we should have won it last year, George. I think if we'd have played the way we played before Dubai, when we come back to Dubai, I think we needed us to win those 3 or 4 games after that, and I think we'd have cantered after that, and that's the big disappointing thing. And that's how I keep going on about this. Is there's something else kind of a holding his back, and I don't know if it's psyche or whatever it is. And I think probably part of it is what you're saying there. See, when we're 1-2-0 up, keep going, get to 4 and 5. Don't let them get back into the game. Don't have us sitting on the edge of our seats like we were on time. We were 1-2-0 and then went into 2-1 for the last couple of minutes. You know, you're absolutely right. That's the kind of a thing that could make that difference, if you know what I mean. That sort of a winning, never going to get beat. We're going to, keep going spirit. And I'm not saying we didn't have the spirit last year, but I honestly think with the players last year today, and I think we had the wherewithal. Whatever happened in Dubai, I don't know. But when we came back, we were a totally different team. We didn't seem to want to play for each other. We were all over the place. Don't know what it was, but that was a real disappointing thing for me. And it's maybe that, that made me feel. Normally when you get beat, you're not too happy, but the way we were getting beat, I think it was more than anything else. And I think that was the thing that kind of got to me a wee bit, to be honest. But I agree with you 100%.
There wasn't one of the games that we had bad results where the opposition goalkeeper was man of the match and we had to win 5 times, and you go, oh, that's just bad luck. We didn't play Cairo.
We didn't, and what a contrast. If you think they half dozen games before it when we were flying, everybody's thinking this is it. I mean, I certainly thought it was it. And that's why I thought with the players today, I thought we had the wherewithal to do it. I think when you look at the squad last season and the squad this season, I think he has upped the game a wee bit. I think he's enhanced the squad, but I still think we were good enough last season to do it, and we should do it this season. And my only worry is that thing I keep coming back to, and I know nobody likes me talking about it, and I know it's a hard thing to describe in that sort of thing, but it just seems to be we need to crash through this barrier that we can't. We can't go more than a yard in front and then we stop. We need to just. George says when we score 2 goals, we need to go in and score 4. And it's the same with league games. When we get a couple of points in front, we just need to go and get 3 and 4 and hoard them and get to 4 and 5 points, because they'll drop points. We just never capitalise whenever they drop the points, and that's the only worry I have. That's the worry for me. If I see
can I come in on that one, Oxford, just for a second? After when we came back to Dubai, what we really needed to do is win the first 2 games. That's what we needed to do. And just like Cairo says, and it would build to there. And that's what all we needed. When I say all, we needed to do that, and we never. Simple as that. And for now, we just drifted. I agree with Cairo.
We took the pressure off other teams as well, didn't we?
Absolutely.
We took the pressure off. All right, lads. I don't know where that yours went. Get yourself in mute, and we're going to have a tune.
From a guy so young to Glasgow City, they come seeking fortune and a new way of life. How could they know their ambitions would grow? Such a beautiful story, and here's how it goes. Going strong. So hoist up your Rangers flags, sing with your heart and voice, celebrate the greatest club in the world. Let our history show what we already know. We are the Rangers, the greatest of all. carried on. The Rangers were born. 54 titles, we're still going strong. Bullets had a dream, start a football team. They had no money, no kid, not even a ball. They still carried on. The Rangers were born. 54 titles, we're still going strong.
Well, Bridge boy.
Just get back to my seat there. 54 titles and still going strong. Brilliant.
I hope he's going to
Great
make
songs
a new
you
verse.
guys play, great songs.
I hope he's going to make a new version of that next year. And the year after,
55.
and the year after.
55.
Right, Carol, before you come on, we just had to discuss the team. We were talking about what's going on at the actual club as well, after part, you know, which is obviously important because you need the revenue streams to rebuild it. You know,
Yeah.
so there's a lot
Absolutely.
of positivity.
Absolutely. I mean, I've been down here. You didn't really get that vibe as much. I only get what basically my brother tells me when he's listening, and then he tells me. He doesn't listen much, so I don't hear that much about what's going on. And obviously, what you guys in the show are saying, type of thing, and pick up for the websites. But I mean that area that's getting going to get done. You know, the old Edmonds. I've been some smashing nights in there, some cracking nights in there. So it just depends what they're going to do. I don't know. I know they were planning permission in there. What is it
So
they're
they're
going to
you
be
doing
doing?
for one of Fox's bricks then?
Say that again?
Fox is selling the bricks for Edmondson House.
Oh, no, I'm not buying one of them. I'll just run on and he'll throw one at me. He'll chip you in it. But what they're going to do with the bistro, we'll have to. I mean, I know that. Who was it who was looking for? Couldn't they fund the bistro? He was looking for the bistro. Who was that?
That
Do you remember that, Cairo?
That was Port
The
Bear.
bridge manager was Brian Colour.
Oh, God, looking for the bistro. I mean, that creased me a wee bit. So if we build a bistro in there, it'd be ideal. What is it it's actually going to be? I scanned it and I can't remember. It's going to have a function room and that type of
Conference
thing.
centre, shops and retail and eating, hopefully, you know.
Yeah, dead on. I mean, their Gale House is superb. I mean, any time I'm up, I try and get out there, you know, and have a meal with whoever in my family and that type of thing. Just go for a meal. The food in it stood the test of time, hasn't it? You know, it was. I think it's always been pretty good. Any time I've been in the service, it's been fantastic.
And it's a great setting, isn't it?
It is, and you know, especially if you're there at kind of a late, you know, in the winter and the parks all lit up, more that kind of thing. But it's the food you know, the setting's great, but when you've been there a couple of times, you know, it's the food you go for. The standard of food's been pretty good as well, consistent. I mean, even with all what's going on. So I think the whole thing with the club's looking good. If they're opening that other shop, they might. I mean, again, I'm not in the know at all, and I just read what I read. But they must be getting money from somewhere, because obviously if they're opening up that other shop and all, it's not just good news, but there must be somebody funding it. There must be something behind it that's making it work, you know. So that's even better. That's even better.
When you look with the commercial department have done, I mean, I've not got a list of the deals in front of me, but obviously Castore, it had its teething problem, shall we say. George Castore have come in. A company that's wanting to be a higher brand. We've always said we want quality. even for this, with golf balls, with soap and shower gel that Bridge uses all the time. It's £20 for one wash. We're marketing in India. The whole thing's just, it's where we should be, George Logan.
Aye, that's right, Ox. I keep on going back to the fact we were a basket case for a while, Ox. But what? No, it's easy to admit it, Ox. You can put your seed in the sand and say we weren't and things like that. We were a basket case, and we were getting. I'm not getting into it, but people were trying to do bad things to our club, Ox. It's simple as that. The fans stood strong and things like that. And you see these things happening now with Castro deal, when we had to go through a couple of dodgy deals as well to eventually get to a half decent deal. And it's obviously going to have teething problems, Ox. But it's just went crazy, Ox. It's been absolutely mental, the amount of strips. And I mean, you had the numbers on here last week. Millions had been sold, garnet certain items and things like that. Now they're bringing out other stuff. And Ox, it's absolutely fantastic. Now we're getting all the shops opened, Ox. And Ox, with our club, I keep going back to our manager, our club, our fan base, and our manager, and the board that's driving all this, Ox, the sky's the limit for us. Let's not stop. Let's just keep going and getting everything we can for our club and get our club back to where we can actually, where it should be, Ox, where it should be.
Mm-hmm. You know, George, you're absolutely right. They try to rape and pillage us. They try to use every lever they could to extort money for us legally, whatever you want to call it. I think now that we'll get that sort of away phase, we'll get decent people running it now. It is in the up. And I think when you see, I mean, I was a bit dubious about Castor, I'll be honest with you. But listening to the guys and that, and the fact that, notwithstanding the teething problems they had, but the fact that they've turned it round a wee bit, you know, it seems to be top quality gear for what you're hearing. I know they had a couple of mishaps with some of the stuff I know, but if that was an Adidas or a Nike or that type of thing, you'd just be one of many. But the fact that you're the big thing it's in there just now, I think that's a good thing for us now. And if we take Castori up, Castor up with us, if we go up with them, you know, we're working off each other's coattails, it could be a great arrangement in the future if we're the ones that sort of take them up to that next level, if you know what I mean. So I think you're right, and I think you know, on the playing side, we're starting to see players want to come back to us again, and that's because of Gerrard in Europe and that type of thing. But everything, yeah, and it's just when you talk to people now again, that people are starting to talk. I mean, just listening to you, George, there now, the enthusiasm in your voice is still there. You know, I think it's just what's happened. We've stepped up a level. I think the backroom staff, the sales staff, and that kind of they've taken it up, because if you remember back to, I remember getting to the Rangers shop in the sort of a late 80s and the 90s, man. I mean, you know, it was just, you could get in it. And remember, I was buying shirts that had just a wee tag on. It was just a wee blue, red and white tag. It never overtly said Rangers, but you knew it was a Rangers thing because all that sort of stuff. It was quite good quality as well, you know. So I'm just hoping we keep the quality there. That's the main thing. But I think you're right, George. I think we're on the up. I think it's that feeling, you know, that you get, and I think again, Mr. Pessimist. I think we've lost that wee sort of what's going to happen next. I think that's gone now, isn't it? Yeah, I think that's gone. I think it is a case of, we're there, we're going to get back again. We're on our way back. We're on the up, and there's no much going to knock us down. If we get the team playing well in the park, that just accelerates that curve. Rather than, you know, saying, oh God, what's next? You remember we had a new court case every 3 months type of thing, and it was you're always getting knocked back down. You would always fear to give yourself that wee sort of come on, the Rangers. You were keeping it to yourself because you knew next week something else was going to come up, but you were feared something else is. I think that's all swept away nowadays, no?
It was great for us, but because we had stories to talk about every day.
I mean, you're a gossip anyway. Ox, you can talk. You can talk about anything. Usually about Bridge, man.
If people want to join us, what's the number, George Logan?
It's 0141 356 1972.
What else can they join us, Bridge?
They can join us at Skype at rangersradio.online, and Fox and Old School Blue look after you, bring you in, and they'll teach you things. Enjoy
the phone in. Hang up, and we'll phone you back ASAP.
So we're going to have
George,
something like George for the bandstand. Is that going to be, we've got the view for the bridge? We're going to have George for the bandstand.
We're working on something else, another feature. We're working on another feature, Mr. Cairo.
All right, well, that's great.
Yes.
George, can I come in a bit there?
Can I ask you a question, George EK, before you come in?
Aye, mate.
I remember, I'm going to say about a month ago, maybe even a bit longer, you and the boy were going up the tune. You were going to get your strips, and you were going to Oswald for a couple. Am I right?
Aye. We got that. We got strips, and we get trackies and all. We got quite a lot.
And how
happy with it.
You happy with it?
What's that?
Happy with it?
Mate, I'm well happy with it. I'm well happy. Just looks, and all the gear that was in the shop, man, it just looks stolen. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
And can I also say something else? I say, Castor, I'm going to need to employ more staff because see, because we signed that South African lad. You see how many fans are going to get on board now?
I just, funny enough, that's a great point. When I was on the radar for, I don't know if anybody else noticed that, what's happened to social media and what's happened to things with our club because of the people of South Africa. It came to that link. I don't know if you picked up on that, George Logan. Did you see that today?
Aye, it's been absolute mental, Ox, isn't it? I think somebody just mentioned it the other night that it was going to happen. Ox, I think you said about getting somebody from Asia in as well and see if we can go that bit. Ox, mere good news, Ox, and it is good news, but I just want the boy to be a good football player, Ox. That's what I want more than anything. That's the reason.
People join us.
Aye, exactly, Ox, exactly.
Can somebody explain to me what's going on? Can somebody explain to someone who likes a newspaper what's exactly happening in social media? What's the gist of what happened?
Well, you have Rangers Twitter page, which is the instant news, if you like, news for the people of the 21st century, Mr. Cairo, yes?
Yes.
And it's just when, let's just say it grows by 500 every day. As soon as I've used that as a number, I've never checked it in Cairo, but we signed this boy from South Africa and tens of thousands have appeared. And
most right?
Part of the world died.
Wow.
10,000 on Monday night, Cairo. Joined the official Rangers website. 10,000, I mean, that's... And the boys from South Africa were putting good wishes on for the boy and things like that. Seemingly he's got a really big following, Cairo.
Right.
So let's hope we can sell a couple of strips there as well.
Well, we're working on it. Bridges talking about doing a tour of South Africa again, so we'll go back.
Very good. Very good.
Rock's Thrift and all the places. Places he was at.
That's really interesting now, because I thought South Africa, we had a fair following at one time, didn't we?
We did. It was Bobby expats. They're not back now.
Yeah, true.
They're not back now. Come and join us. Give your thoughts and a lot of positive things that's happening in our club. It's 0141 356 1972. Or join us at Skype at rangersradio.online. We've got on the Talbot Old School Blue because Fox is going to join us this end. He's got something off his chest. Phone in. Hang up. And we will speak.
Something off his chest? Wow.
Oh, he's always a man of positivity, so maybe he's picked up a vibe as well. Even Mr. Fox have his one.
Good evening.
How you doing, mate?
Fox.
You took me complete surprise there. Get something off my chest. Need to be the hair.
Don't, you messaged me and said you wanted to come in.
Did I?
Oh,
right, okay.
You wanted to play tribute to Stephen Davis. I see that now. That's what you were wanting to say, wasn't it?
No, but I surely will. I take it he's earned his 120th cap tonight.
Yeah, he did do, mate.
And I think they're currently drawing 1-1 in the playoff tie, so still in me a chance of going forward in the competition. Right. I think
Huge
they,
congratulations to Sir Stephen Davis. Huge congratulations. Brilliant.
I think if they get through, mate, and the Irish get through, that'll be some game for the qualifying spot, won't it?
Aye.
Northern Ireland v the South.
I'm sure Sir Stephen will want to play in that one.
Aye, without a doubt.
Oh,
This,
Fox,
on you go, George.
Fox, I thank you, by the way, man. Bolts in that. And I eventually fund them, go to them off. So cheers, mate. Well appreciated.
We're here to help, George. Here to help.
So you did find the bolts, George?
Aye. I
Well
ended up
done.
taking it down. I ended up taking it down in 4 separate bits. So it looks a bit messy at the front.
You never every day's a school day, George.
That's it, mate. That's that.
George, well done.
Every day.
Aye, you were talking about positivity there.
Aye.
How well do you think the board have done since Dave King's left? Has it surprised you that they've upped the stake and the money put into the club, etc.? Do you think they get enough support from the Rangers support?
Do you get enough support? What you mean financially?
I mean, no. I mean,
Plaudits.
plaudits is a better word. Yes.
I think it's a mixed bag. I think I'll take it to George Logan, but I think that there's people who'll just never be comfortable with anybody on board because of 2012. Main view is the Dave King and onwards since Donald Parkerman. They've had a plan in place. They've got some great people in position. They've both got James Bysgrove, Ross Wilson, and everything just seems to be going in the right direction. And they're all appointments by the board. And I see nothing but good things. And I think they're doing a sterling job at this moment in time. George Logan.
I've got to agree with you, Ox, and going back to what Cairo was saying there too. I mean, there was one of the times, Ox, where you were always feared to look at a paper, a bit of social media, because you knew there was always something got to be coming out bad, and there was more and more every time they opened their drawer in Ibrox, they were finding more stuff. I don't believe for 1 second, Ox. Well, even going back further than Dave King, I don't believe for 1 second that John Gilligan would have left the club in any state, Ox. I think he wanted to know the club was completely safe before he left and went and got on with his stuff again. And everybody's thankful for the job he done. And then going on to Dave King. Dave King only had good thoughts for the club and wanted good things for the club. Ox, for me personally, I'm going to be forever grateful for the things he done. And now he's handed the club over, Ox. And I think he's left it in good hands as well. And the guys that's running it, Ox, are fantastic as well. Dougie Pat, absolutely fantastic guys running the club. And we're going from strength to strength. And that's me being completely positive, Ox. But you know what, Ox? Because of it happened in 2012, I'm always going to have that wee what if, because we didn't know what could happen. And before 2012, let's say before 2008, around about that time, we didn't really know me personally, didn't really know who was on the board. David Murray and there was guys with Martin Bain and things like on the board, but apart from that, he didn't know. 2012 to 2018, even now, Ox, could probably name every single person that's on the board or a day with the board, Ox, and that's a bit sad because you didn't really want to be like that. But for me personally, I think our club's in great hands, and I think Dave King and John Gilligan's left it in great hands, Ox.
Richman, and then we'll go to Cairo.
Yeah, he's actually saying words that I've been thinking and saying for a long time. There's certain parties that were, shall we say, legends to all intents and purposes at board level. John Gilligan's one of them. Absolutely tremendous. And Dave King, I can't thank Dave King enough. Or any of the guys, really and truly. Dave King, he came in and he managed to cajole and push and whatever it is he had to do to get his way and get for the fans, and it's marvellous. He managed to get rid of these what seemed to be really bad people who were connected to Rangers. I don't know how they managed to get in, but there you are. So he managed to get them out at a very little cost. In reality, they were bought out by the there was three bears or the 4 bears, I remember it was after all. But that's fabulous, and Gilligan was a big part in it all, and the fans loved to hear him talking and believed, because he was a believable chap, and not that he would tell you a lot of rubbish, but they believed, he believed, and it was tremendous. So they had blue lights, blue skies rather, in certain areas, but other parts, oh, they two boys for Greenock. Oh my God, you know, dear, oh dear, oh dear, what a nightmare.
They back to Rang Horse. That was their trouble.
Well, I think so, and a big style too. Big
Their
style.
intentions were right. They just backed to Rang Horse. Cairo, then George VK.
I'll be honest with you. I was deeply suspicious of Dave King, especially telling supporters to boycott the club and all that. I thought there were shenanigans going on there with share prices and everything else. And when he did get in, saying, you know, the boys that boycotted the club were the guys that saved it and that type of thing, I think that's total. That just irked me something terrible. The people that went to see the Rangers saved the Rangers, and I know the board and all that type of thing brought it together and all that sort of stuff. But to say that the folk that boycotted saved the club, I think that's anathema to me, to be honest with you. I think that was totally wrong. As he went through what he'd done, no taking us into the what do you call it, the right sort of a footsie thing, worried me a wee bit, but I understood how he did it, why he did it, not how he did it, but why he did it. A bit of flexibility. Some of the boys they had to get rid of, the boys that were there before King had really got in charge, really did worry me. I think you're right about the two bus fellas. I think they did back the Rang Horse. I think they were duped a wee bit with folk as well. Murray, I'll never ever. That guy just, anything that I ever thought of him for what he was doing for us when we were going for 9 in a row and all that kind of thing. We lost all that with what he'd done. When King started to get control and that, I guess started to get again. I still don't trust King. I don't know what it is about me. I've still got some a lot of reservations about him because he was in the thick of it before we went down the tubes, before we get attacked and before we had that idiot White came in or the Patsy White came in. So I always have a bit of suspicion with King. I'll have a wee bit of admiration for him as well for leaving us where we are. Gilligan, I think you're right, and the people who are in charge now, I think they waited their time until they could grasp the nettle basically and get us back on a firm footing. As I say, I don't know, the money they're putting in just now must be quite a lot because I think then Stephen Gerrard's asked for, he's got it. So there's a certain phases as you go through it. I think the first lot we had were just charlatans. Green and they guys, like, you know, they talked a good game, and I think everybody was just glad we got somebody, and Green talked us into believing he was there for Rangers when he was actually there for himself. So I think a lot of us had the will pulled out our eyes with different folk, and it's very difficult. So it always makes us suspicious now of these folk who are in charge, although I must admit I'm mighty relieved that Park's sort of the leader of the pack that we've got just now, and I think the people that are there just now are head and shoulders above the folk that were there in respect to want to do good for Rangers and make sure Rangers are getting there. So I feel a lot more comfortable, but I'll always feel reticent about backing a board again just because you were harmed. And the real thing that gets me just now about the current board is we still seem to be toothless. We're not prepared to take anybody on this dignified silence, as we call it. Still, it really should be changed.
I think if you look in the last 6 months, mate, we mostly have been involved in their battles with the Scottish football authorities as we've been in the last 8 years, mate. But we can't win every battle, mate.
I think at times we've been, you know, it's like the grand old Duke of York. They took us there, we will not be silenced, we'll not be silenced. And they took us to the top of the hill and then nothing. You know,
but ultimately we're looking for support off other clubs, and I'll tell you what, if you go back and you read the statement for your board, what they predicted and what they said, they'll slap it into other clubs because we were right.
I don't disagree with you, Ox. I think there are some things. I mean, this thing with Stephen Gerrard, for example.
That's Zamora.
That's Zamora. I mean, I think it's ludicrous. And you look back in certain things that's happened. I mean, certain things with were players. I mean, the most stupid one was the one that, what was it? Who waved at somebody? And was it
Andy Halliday.
It was Andy Halliday. But I mean, when you look at that and you look at some of these things, and our club said nothing about it, then it's no wonder that we get. I feel it's no wonder that we seem to be having this sort of a open day against the Rangers thing.
We've got guys in our club now take up the cudgel, mate. You don't
We've not done it. Well, we haven't done it though, and unless it's been behind closed doors, then fair enough.
You guys take up the cudgel, mate. But we're in a difficult situation because we're fighting Oromie, dear mate.
Oh, I get that, and I get that, and it's not just football wise, but it's just everything wise. But you're right. But I mean, at times of Stonewall, I mean, this. I don't know. It's just me. I just think I think they're trying to make themselves too pure, and I mean that by the fact that they're trying to be the same as the. They're trying to be the same as the Church of Scotland. They're trying to be friends to everybody and letting go of the people, the folk that were being the stalwarts for their club for years. And I'm not saying that the stuff that they're doing, we shouldn't be doing that. You know, the club's for everybody. It should be for everybody, but they shouldn't be trying to alienate some of their support.
We should never apologise for our history. No other clubs in the city of Glasgow. George E.K.
I'm just trying to say that anyway, Dave King and John Gilligan have left the club in a reasonable state, a good state, a good condition. And what they've done is they've got rid of the people who used to who classed themselves as Rangers people, but really they were leeches. And all they did was suck their wealth and prestige out of their club. You know what I mean? And now we've got Douglas Park there, Barry, and I believe that Douglas Park's got the right people in there, Barry, and we're going to surpass these people, man, and we're going to get back to the great days that we were.
One thing happened there last week, I don't know if anybody picked up the Bridgeman, I know you're a follower of shares, etc., but occasionally I know you're one of Scotland's highest shareholders in the FTSE 100. But with 8 million 20p shares, was it 8 million?
42 million.
42
£8 million. £8 million pounds.
Sorry, £8 million quid. And by the way, it never even made the papers, did it? I would have said that 2-3 years ago, that would have been on the front page of every red top. Would it?
They don't want to know us, Oxtail. They don't want to know us at all.
And that's because we're now getting new debt and we're getting stronger, mate.
In what respect, Ox, are you saying from a positive standpoint, it never made the papers?
They would have spun it in the negatives. Yeah.
Yeah.
The weird with shares, but all we're doing is turning debt. The boys are getting them their equity for their debt, for their loans.
Yeah.
Everybody's happy. We're happy. We've no debt. Somebody's got a few more shares, so what?
I think you're right. I mean, the amount of lawyers who knew about football business, about the solutions and all that sort of thing, the experts, the amount of them that we've seen in Scotland at the time was horrendous, isn't it? It was outrageous. So I don't know if it's good news or bad news. I think as you say, it was just a transaction squaring everything up, getting everybody in the right thing. But you're right, a couple of years ago that'd have been Rangers are in liquidation, either they're in trouble or they're going to be this or they're going to be that. So that's a wee change in itself, the fact that they didn't do that. So that to me, that's a bit of good news. It's a good sign, that, because they would have, you're right, 3 or 4 years ago it'd been all over the papers, it'd been everywhere, and there'd be commentators standing outside Ibrox saying what's happening, whipping up news that isn't really news.
They didn't have what. Before we change subjects, Fox in the ad, mate. I mean, Dave King, second greatest guy ever to come out of Castlemilk.
After myself, of course.
Don't forget, wee skipper.
I think there was a time when most people weren't sure of the present board, but I think they've fought the battle to get the club back on top rather than fighting external battles. And that's to their credit, mate. It might not have suited us as a support at sometimes that we didn't answer back and get into legal battles with them. The main thing is they've got our club back on track. And I think it was Dave King that brought in Stephen Gerrard, which will turn out to probably be the best decision he's had for the club for me. He's brought back prestige to the club. And Stephen Gerrard is fulfilling his potential, mate, for me. I think we're playing better football than we have in 10 years. We're now respected in Europe. And that's a long, long way since we were playing breaking behind a hedge, mate.
Yeah.
That's a fair comment. I can't argue with that, George Logan.
Aye, that's exactly it. I mean, people were talking about Dave King sitting in the Liverpool director's box just before Stephen Gerrard, and I thought it was pie in the sky, Ox. I've got to be honest, I really didn't. And by the way, half the reason was because we won a basket case, and maybe people were saying to Stephen Gerrard, but it's been the other way around. People have actually turned around and said, "Tim, go up there and give that a shot," because as much as we were taking a chance in him, let's be honest, he was taking a chance with us, and I think we've just found a right match for each other, and that's why I say Dave King has left us on a strong footing. It's a good manager, a good board behind us, but Cairo's right. None of that matters. None of that would matter at all if our fans had done anything but keep on supporting our club. We've never been away. We've been there all the time through the hard time, and you keep on saying we can never ever be called glory hunters, and that's for sure, Ox.
Aye. It's the greatest match since you and Lisa.
Correct.
There you go. Put you back in the good books.
Thanks for that, Ox. I needed that tonight.
They bother me. Put you back in the good books. Right. So look.
I'll tell you what, Ox. I'm just sitting thinking there, listening to Fox. When you listen to what Fox said there, it does give you a fair bit of perspective when you look back to where we were a couple of years ago to where we are now, off the field, on the field, board level, and the team itself. So yeah, I think it's the difference is immense. We're in an absolutely clearly in a totally different planet from where we were, 3 years ago. I just wish we'd have climbed that other step last year and won the league for us. And I think now would be exalting about things rather than just thinking about what could have been. So I think that perspective that Fox put there, I think, is pretty stark.
3 years ago, Pedro Caixinha was still our manager, Cairo.
3 years ago, yeah. Wow. We were always looking up then, Fox. I think we're kind of on the up now, so we're not looking as far up. We're looking. We can look down now and all, but at that time, I think we were just looking up at everybody else. That was I don't even know where that guy actually came from. I mean, I hadn't heard him or anything. It was really strange.
Connection with Pedro Mendes. And by the way, he done everything he said he would do off the park and we get the personnel in. He told us he would get internationalists from Mexico to come and play for us with pedigree. He would bring in a Portuguese centre half and play for Portugal.
Pedigrees.
Well, that
Get pedigree, dog meat.
It just turned out that they couldn't play, you know what I mean?
Do you think, Ox, that the support realised how big a job that they had taken on, or were we too impatient to get back to the top?
Say that again, Fox. I missed your first bit.
I says, did the support realise just how big a job it was to get us back to where we are today? Or do you think that we expected to just more or less stroll back to the top and without the financial commitment that the boards had to make?
I think if you look back and you think back, I think it was Paul Murray. I think it told us it would take about 7 years.
Aye, and we all went aghast at that, didn't we?
Aye.
7 years, Jesus. But
I think if supporters, put my supporters hat on, and you take every game and you expect to win every game, and we've got to cup finals, and we've been in positions where we think if we can win this game we can challenge. But I think ultimately we weren't ready. I would say to George Logan, I think we're ready now. I think we're ready.
Aye, that's right. That's exactly it. What Fox is saying there, he's absolutely right. I remember the night Paul Murray said that, and he turned around and said it's got to be 7 years. And the biggest majority of our fans said 7 years. We can't wait 7 years. Well, it's been a journey, Ox. Of course, it's been a journey getting us to this point. But I mean, there we're talking about the 150 celebration, Ox. We've just spoken about Stevie Davis, 120 caps. For our country, back at our for his country, back at our club of the night as well, Ox. So it's all been positive stuff. And you know what? 7 years, Ox. He was right, Ox. But to be fair, we're up there now. We're actually up there fighting and battling now. And like Cairo says, we're not looking up the way now, Ox. We're looking mostly down the way, and the ones that kicked us on the way back up, on the way down. Sorry.
I think that would be fair, George. I think that would be fair. But I think they were proved right, and I think the whole model was broke for Fox that we'd ever seen as supporters. We're only ultimately interested in the first team. Of
course we are. We just want to see what trots out in the park, Ox.
Aye.
And as we say, it's been a long and gradual process, and we've suffered some horrific signings. But we're now beginning to see a class of player coming into the club that we as a support were used to those years ago. And it's very heartening now, mate.
Mm-hmm. Bridgeman, you're one of the most positive guys, always stay positive. But we it's been called a journey. And we were on a journey, but I think we're getting close to the end of that journey because we're back in our rightful place.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Your words are so true as well. It's been a long journey. When you think how this season 2011, 2012 started for us, and we were doing quite well, and all of a sudden the world just fell apart for us. And obviously we get sent down. We volunteered to go into the bottom of the league itself, and we struggled. Obviously, we've struggled, but we're here, and we've been here now, up at the top of the league for 3 seasons now, maybe 4. We're here. We've been knocking on the door. As Fox said there, we're getting quality coming in, and the more quality we get in, the better we're going to be. Bigger foundation, and so is stuff that we've spoke about for a while. And I think seriously that's going to happen. I'm really desperately keen, like all the rest of the Rangers fans, to win the league this year. But I'm not going to be completely disheartened because we've got a lot of seasons to go. We need to win something. We need to win the league at some point. That's for sure, because that can't go on. We've got good investment going in, and that must continue. So it's up to the managers and the players to get out there and do it. But seriously, what a difference in quality! What a difference in quality! Just incredible. Harry Forrester. Oh my God! Tell me, Harry Forrester. Wow, Kribari. Ow.
Oh, see when we started up this wee radio station way back in the dark days, and we tried to give a voice to the Rangers support.
Mm-hmm.
And we have listened to views of guys all the way through this so-called journey, and it's heartening now to hear guys coming on being positive instead of guys being dejected. And it's been a long journey for us as well, isn't it, to be honest?
Aye, well, I took a note of the first caller that came on. I think his name was Alexander Graham Bell. That's how long we've been doing this show, folks.
I've been doing this every night for about 10 years, it seems now. I must be no wonder I can't get a bird anymore.
You want us to discuss that?
Thank you.
All right, okay. I thought that would be a good something, George Logan.
I thought that was a cue to go there. Oxford came after mute there and was ready to go for it, but no, he's not ready for that tonight. Nah, but he's right in what he's saying. I mean, Fox is bang on. You and Bridgeman and Fox, I mean, it was dark days, Ox, when we were coming on here. And let's be honest about it, all the fans were arguing about each other. And we all wanted the best for the club because the passion was there. Some wanted Dave King, some wanted Paul, some wanted this one and that one, the boy for the Sale Sharks, and all wanted, I don't think anybody at all wanted Charles Green, let's be honest, or Dave King, the boy White, let's be honest about it. But we all had our differences in that, Ox, and that's why we're all passionate about it. We all, listening tonight, everyone's passionate about us getting back to the top and trying to win trophies again, because as much as we're bigging the club up and we're all talking good about the club, Ox, let's be honest, Ox, it means nothing until we get that trophy back in your trophy cabinet, and that's what we're aiming for this year. And like Cairo said, the whole world felt like it fell apart last season. Let's not do that this season. Let's win the trophy, and let's all this positive talk tonight be first round, Ox.
Well said, George. Well said.
Can I throw the spanner? Can I throw the spanner in the works then?
Wait a minute, mate. I'll back to you. We've been joined by Big Al, the Pampers dressed kid.
Oh, gentlemen. All right, boys. I was listening to that this morning driving to work about crash when I heard Georgie's missus is planting the Pampers crash. So I thought I'd use a wee call when I got a minute. 150-year celebration. I think the bistro should be done up. We'll engage Georgie's missus to create a sensory garden, yeah? She can put some Pampas grass in there for you, all right? As Big Gio can bring down one of his old couches for a viewing gallery. How does that sound?
You've been putting a lot of thought into this, Big Al.
Oh, I have. And you know what we're going to call it?
Go on then.
Rounders. See how I tied the whole show in there? The whole show's been tied in.
I see what you've done there. Well, that's very
anyway, back to the serious talk. It is great that we can talk about football. We can all have different views now, but trust me, 6 years I woke up every morning. You're checking this, you're checking that, and it was nothing but negative. Now I can be negative, but in a good way. Maybe the team's not playing well. That's just football negativity. No financial negativity. No people trying to kick you when you're down negativity. So it's great. That's what's really positive. We've moved along. I'd like us to move faster, but that's just me. I'm pretty impatient. I want things yesterday. But it is night and day. It's certainly night and day, mate. I can't. What's that? About 4 years or something. I've been talking to you. 3 years, something like that.
It's hard to believe, mate.
I know.
It's maybe neither 5 years, mate, if we're being honest.
But you certainly you put a different spin on it. You're able to communicate with guys like Cairo. Cairo, you're good with balls, aren't you? With the snooker.
Oh, it's brilliant.
We might be able to find that.
Don't get him going about snooker.
I can pick Curry side in the ball.
Oh, lovely. You maybe need to do that with a few of the gentlemen. Oh, by the way, Stevie's wee boy will never allowed into the new sensory area. Right. Get sorted for him. But you put a different spin on it. And that's good. George puts a different spin on it. But it's always positive. Where do we go for here? I think we just need to win that one title. And that's us. We are home and free. We will rampage through Scottish football, and maybe it isn't a bad. Maybe it isn't a bad thing. This COVID, it might, you know what I mean. Naturally, you just kill off what needs to be killed off. The weeds in the garden. Well, it may happen. It may the leagues may consolidate. You never know how many English teams. You don't know what we have in the future. Leagues will change. I think that's inevitable. So we're in a good position as long as we keep there, keep pushing. And we need it. It's critical we get that league title. Really critical.
And I remember it turned out a bit of a joke night, Al. Back, and when your missus phoned up.
Aye.
And I'm not taking the pee here, but when she said how important it was and the stuff we read about every day.
Mate, I feel a bit emotional talking about it now because 6 years, it was absolutely a nightmare. Every time I looked at the paper, I looked at a website, It was just negative. I said to you before, see, you've got constants in your life, right? It's what I've been doing, and I've been depressed, and I'm fortunate now to have a beautiful wife and 4 beautiful kids. But you know, the one constant I always had Glasgow Rangers. And when I grew up, Rangers were successful. Rangers were the echelons of football. I'm never embarrassed to say I'm a Rangers fan. So they were a constant, and it's really sad to see that, because it's like your family. Eh? I don't like people using that word family with a Rangers family. I think we're more than a family. I think it's a belief. I think it's a thing. It's a feeling. It's something that's in you. It can never go away. So it's a constant, and it's really sad when you see something in your life being punished, really for nothing. We as fans never done nothing, and we are the club, I suppose. It's unfortunate I'm on the other side of the world, but I still love my club. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. But you've not always been the other side of the world. We've had the pleasure of meeting you. I met you at Ibrox, yeah.
That's correct. I've always wanted to say this to you, as they say, never meet your heroes. You know what I mean? I don't know if you feel the same about me, buddy.
I don't think so.
The only thing that disappointed me that day was I never seen Jimmy in the Patrick Borat with a Mankini. I need to get a picture of that one day.
No, you don't. Trust me. Trust me, Al, you don't.
Is Rudy still about in First Stardog? The usual.
Rudy walks away occasionally, yeah.
All right, cool.
Who else did you say?
And Stardog. Where's Stardog?
I'm sure he'll be back at some point, mate. He's been dealing with personal stuff.
I hope he's all right. He's all right.
But I've talked to him a few times the last week or so.
Give him a love, man. Give him a love. And where's Parahandy?
He's been on. I know this is terrible. I've been speaking to him as well, but he's been on a COVID run. He's back, and you never know, he might join us on the show next week.
I thought he was cooking in a kitchen and poisoned that Filipino crew again.
No. He was on it because he was COVID free. He had to stay on the run for some.
I'll tell you,
or something else.
I work with some Filipinos, and it must take something to poison a Filipino if you see what they eat. It must take something, man.
Can I ask you? Oh my God! A serious question, mate. Right?
Yes. Sorry.
Right. Okay. We know that. Our club's not perfect, and we're seeing that bulldozers get into Edmondson Drive, Edmondson House today. They start the work and things are improving. And we're opening an official shop in the city centre in Buchanan Galleries. Everything's slowly going in the right direction. Do you sense that, being a Rangers supporter in Australia?
Oh, yes. People talk to me, look, when Stephen Gerrard walked in the door, people know him. Liverpool fans, for all the world, Colombian guys, Argentinian guys, anybody that's a soccer fan, you know what I mean? They know it, and I sense it because there's no negativity really. I can go on fans media, which I do very often. I speak to you guys. Yeah, there's a positivity. There's definitely a positivity here.
All right. And are you feeling this? Right,
I'll let you go because I need to go.
I liked what you done there when you come on, mate. That was clever.
Try to the show on. Sorry, sometimes I'm a wee bit flippant. I've got to be serious at my work, and I only really got a chance when I'm talking to you to be a wee bit flippant and a wee bit have a bit of carry on because
I know exactly how that feels, mate.
Hey Al, at Spartacus, we are all flippant. I am flippant.
I am flippant.
You're flipping something, I'll tell you that.
Don't mention work to Cairo.
Right, gentlemen, and thanks for you too, Georgie boy. You save the couches up, man. Save the couches up. Take care, boys.
Cheers.
I mean, Robbie, Cairo. I don't know where you're sitting in northeastern England, and I was in Australia. George, isn't he? He's walking away from home. I don't know if people realise how powerful our support is. Al's sitting in He's sitting in the east coast of Australia in his Rangers daft. We're up there with the top clubs in the world, and I don't know if we realise it sometimes.
Yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it? George for Greater Whitburn, it's a all over the place.
Greater
Whitburn, I love it.
Are you accepting that, George?
Alex Kenny in Cairo said because after Big Al goes on, no holds barred the night, Ox, eh? Brilliant.
He breezes in and breezes out, doesn't he?
I remember the first time I heard George on in Rangers chat, and he was saying, what was he say that on for Stony? Is it Stony Bridge, George?
Stonyburn Bridge.
Stonyburn, there you go. I'm for Stonyburn, aye. Wow. Just you're talking about all over the world. I'm thinking, here we got Rangers fans, and George was the furthest away at the time that I spoke to, and there was Ian was Greater Wishy. Wishy, man. And if you didn't come for Greater Wishy, well, we don't want you on the phone, and
You barely bunkle.
Brilliant, just brilliant. But because George usually talk about the big dogs and things like, oh my God, brilliant.
Right, but see all that, see Al coming on and speaking about that, he's right in what he's saying. See, 6-7 years ago, Ox, we wouldn't have spoke like that, Ox. It wouldn't have been spoke about that coming on, having a bit of banter, because everything was that serious. We wanted, and now we can see there's a wee bit of light at the end of the tunnel, Ox, because we're not at the end of the tunnel yet. The tunnel's when we pick up that trophy. And I was right in what he's saying, Ken. Every morning you looked and you were wondering what's going to happen, and now there's a lot of good feeling, a lot of happiness about the Rangers fans. You can hear a bit of banter on that, Ox. That had disappeared for years as well.
I remember I set up all one night for a come in for the night shift that waited up for a stock market announcement that never happened.
I'll tell you what, we said earlier on about Paul saying it was going to take 7 years. Mm-hmm. I don't think he should have 7 years. I think we had 4 years of infighting and 4 years of the right men trying to get the club back under control. I think if we had the right people in charge at the very start, it would have taken the 3 years it's taken us for we got Gerrard. I think we'd have done something better then. So that's just my sort of my view on things. I think we had so much infighting that it detracted from what we were doing.
That's exactly what happened. The first 2.5 years, it was just an absolute battle royal. And the first two AGMs that we went to was just farcical. They built these platforms out for the main stand, and the board were sitting and standing a lot of the time on this platform, and it was snow coming down behind them and rain, and oh my God, they were frozen. Everybody was frozen. And then the next, it was what do they call it? Is it a wee tent thing?
Gazebo.
A gazebo at the enemy's end, right? Why are they having it there? Why are we not having another? Oh dear, unbelievable stuff. Farcical. Sorry, Cairo. Farcical.
Yeah.
Right, no, George EK. How far have we came, mate? In your opinion, you're a bear. You're just a punter like the rest of us. How far have we came, mate?
Leaps and bounds, mate. Leaps and bounds, man. I mean, you're talking about back then, man. I mean, honestly, man, I was so depressed, man. I mean, back then, really depressed. I said the club was full of leeches, man. They were just bleeding us dry.
And then you've discovered you've discovered your shell.
Aye, but we're already what I'm talking about now. They're just moving forwards and upwards and forwards, you know what I mean? And I can feel the exuberance, man. But we're going to do it, lads. We're going to do it.
All right. Well, gentlemen, we've reached that time in the evening.
Ready?
The international break isn't great sometimes, but I've got to say, some great chat tonight, debate in our club. George Logan.
Aye, absolutely fantastic, Ox. Like I say, Christian's Big Stephen, it's been absolutely brilliant. The callers coming on makes the show. Had a ball tonight, Ox.
All right, it's over to you, Bridge.
What we're going to say. Fantastic evening.
Wait a minute, let me do that again. It's over to you for a view from the bridge.
A view from the bridge, aye. Can I just say, it's been an absolutely superb night again. Well done, Oxter, and well done for big George Logan there, jumping in for Stevie the drum. can I just say that, seriously, everything that was said tonight regarding our club, particularly in the last half hour, was all from the heart. All from the heart. So to all the Rangers fans all over the world, and particularly Rangers fans on here on Rangers Radio, diehards. Every single one is diehards. So keep it going for the Rangers, because the Rangers really need us, you know. Keep it going.
Can I thank George VK? Cairo, always a pleasure. Always a pleasure for George VK as well. Big Al for Australia. George Logan and Fox. Bridgeman as usual. And of course, Old School Boy did the technical. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back tomorrow night between 8 and 10. One will be rejoined by Linda and friends. Take it away, Old School Boy.